At the launch of PSVR2, everyone pointed to Kayak VR Mirage as the game that showcased the visuals of our new headset above and beyond the rest of the launch lineup. And with photorealistic water and high-res textures, it was easy to see why. But soon enough, the veneer started to fade, and the debate of, is this even a game, took its place. Which is why there's some trepidation surrounding the PSVR2 launch of shallow water swimming simulators Subside. Sure, it's beautiful, but is there an actual game here? Subside takes you into practically photorealistic environments, all running in high res at 90 frames native. And I don't want to get hyperbolic here, but it's crystal clear. And this is seriously the best looking game, at least from a technical standpoint, that I've ever seen in VR ever. There's a demo on the PlayStation Store, so do yourself a favor and download it. You've got to see the clarity of Subside for yourself. But it's more than just visual appeal. It also gives you freedom. The freedom to swim around and explore to your heart's content. And just below the surface of each level lies aquatic life like fish, crabs, sea turtles, and some much bigger creatures that are just mesmerizing to see up close. So just being down there while the sun shines down and the waves cast reflections against the ocean floor is kind of enough. It's quiet, hypnotic, peaceful. And during a week where I spent entire days blasting xenomorphs away with a pulse rifle, this was the tranquil getaway that I needed. And there's this great moment that happens practically every time you come up for air and see the world around you. Water dripping down your mask and the muffled tones of the ocean are exchanged for total clarity, both visual and auditory. There's no music in Subside outside of the chimes awarded for unlocking something. So when all you hear are the sounds of water and bubbles reverberating against your eardrums, it just adds to the solitude and doubles down on how real all of this feels. And if you happen to own a PlayStation 5 Pro, it looks even better. The resolution is slightly higher, and objects that never used to cast a shadow suddenly do now. It's nothing major though, so don't worry. If you don't have a Pro, you're not missing out on much. You swim forwards, turn, raise, and lower yourself exactly how you would in real life. But for a good majority of my time in Subside, I opted to crawl around on the ocean floor by grabbing whatever was in reach and pulling myself around just like I did in Freedive or Triton Down. It all feels good, though there are a couple of concerns people might take issue with. I was surprised that there was no haptic feedback from the sense controllers while wading my way through the ocean, only a subtle thunk when grabbing rocks. The real concern I have is the potential for motion sickness, which could come from two places. First, turning by swiping left or right in the ocean, while fine for me, could easily make you sick if you're not careful, so you might want to turn off the swim turn option in the menu until you're totally sure you can handle it. And the other's a little more serious. It's needing to know where both hands are at all times. See, if one of your hands gets stuck behind a rock or anything else while you're trying to move forward, the game acts like you have in-game arms and slingshots you back involuntarily towards it. It's not a good feeling, especially if you're already swimming in some really tight spaces, desperately trying to move forward while your oxygen depletes. So what are we actually doing in Subside? Well, it's mostly exploring. And the whole experience is designed like one giant scavenger hunt. You search for keys, then search for chests to open with those keys, each one unlocking a new item in the store. And all the while, you're collecting coins in order to be able to buy those items. And it's all stuff you're gonna want. Fins to auto swim, new gloves to help you swim faster, an extra 30 seconds of oxygen, another extra 30 seconds of oxygen, a metal detector to help you find more treasure, a torch to open chests, and the granddaddy of unlockables, a jetpack. There's 7 distinct areas and a ton of collectibles to find, and I found it genuinely fun to check all the boxes. And while I was disappointed that a couple of these areas were smaller than I was hoping, a few of them are downright massive, with the underground cave level forcing you through tight spaces without any way to come up for air, really testing your claustrophobia. Getting everything will probably take you upwards of 8 or 9 hours, although good luck with that platinum. There's a trophy for finishing the game in under an hour, so I think that'll take some practice. If I have any complaints, it's just that I want more. More environments to explore, more gadgets to unlock, more collectibles to find. Give me a reason to spend another 10 hours here. Excuse the pun, but in a world where every VR game is trying to be the next big action adventure, Subside was a breath of fresh air. There's no narrative, no dialogue, not even any combat. And yeah, that will make some people say that Subside isn't a game, but I'm going to argue that it doesn't matter. It's a beautiful piece of art that took me away from reality for a couple of days, and that's exactly what I needed it to be.